Oneshell Media International proudly presents.
Five lesser-known UFO crash incidents. UFO crash in Nebraska. The earliest UFO crash on our list comes from Dundee County in Nebraska on June 6, 1884. That evening, with the sun setting but still with adequate light to continue rounding up his cattle, farmer John W. Ellis and several hired workers would suddenly witness an extremely bright light making its way across the skies. As it appeared, a terrific whirring sound became increasingly loud in their ears. As the men watched the object, they quickly realized it was coming down to the ground. They continued to watch until the impact and inevitable explosion occurred. After waiting for several moments, the men cautiously approached the vehicle to investigate further. According to a report in the Nebraska Nugget newspaper, Alf Williamson would suffer intense burns from getting too close to the craft. According to subsequent reports that would appear over the following years, including one in the Nebraska State Journal in 1887, the men were of no doubt that the object was a nuts and bolts airborne vehicle. It was made, according to their report, from a metal of an appearance like brass. However, when they tried to move it, they were shocked at how remarkably light it was, even though the exterior was as strong as any known metal at the time. The Prolodny Incident. According to reports that were released following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, at around 11 a.m. on August 10, 1989, a squadron of MiG-25s were scrambled to meet a UFO flying over the city of Prolodny near the Caucasus Mountains. If their reports are to be believed, the UFO was hit by a ground-to-air missile and crashed somewhere in the mountains. A Mi-8 helicopter was sent out to locate the object. A disc-shaped craft was soon located near Nizhny Chegem. A retrieval team was sent to the area, which was soon cordoned off and under military lockdown. The retrieval team would transport the object to the nearby Mozdok Air Base. According to the reports, the KGB would oversee a specially pieced-together investigation team to attempt to reverse engineer the apparent alien technology. At the same time, the KGB would employ a typical Cold War cover-up operation. As a further twist to this affair, a crew of 3 alien occupants were discovered within the remains of the craft. 2 of them were dead on discovery. The third, while alive, would die shortly after. If we are to believe the account, the 3 dead aliens are preserved somewhere in a top-secret location, most likely Kapustin Yar, the Soviet version of Area 51. The Willsthorpe Beach Incident. A bizarre incident presumed to be a downed UFO occurred in September 2009, although no witnesses actually saw the crash itself. However, the events that would unfold are almost a textbook crash story. An unnamed retired couple, in their 70s at the time, would witness 30 to 40 strange objects hanging in the air over the North Sea for around 90 minutes. It was around 11 p.m., and the married couple were getting ready for bed when they noticed the strange aerial show from the bedroom window of their seafront home. After they watched the UFOs until just after midnight, the strange objects began to shoot straight upward. Not quite sure what they had seen, the couple believed the show was over and went to bed. However, the next morning, they would awake to the sound of heavy-duty military helicopters descending on the beachfront. 2 Chinooks offloaded droves of military personnel. The entire beach was under lockdown. Some of the soldiers were moving up and down the beach in specific ways with metal detectors, as if searching for metallic objects. Then came the sound of bursts of automatic gunfire, quickly followed by explosions. When UFO investigators would request information on the military presence that morning, even asking outright if a UFO had crashed on the beach or in the sea, they were told it was a routine military exercise. One particular UFO researcher, Paul Sinclair, wasn't at all satisfied with that explanation and continues to investigate the case. The Bolivia Crash. On the mountain range near Bermejo, Bolivia, near the border with Argentina, thousands of people would witness a UFO crash and explode into flames. It was just after 4:15 p.m. on the 6th, 1970, and according to reports, The supersonic bang was heard up to 240 kilometers away and even cracked windows within 48-kilometer radius, while residents on the Bolivian side contemplated whether the object was meteor, something more otherworldly. The Argentinian authorities had mobilized their military onto the mountainous border range to search for the mystery object. This search would apparently take weeks. Eventually, the Bolivian Air Force would discover the crash site but were unable to land to investigate further. The next thing anyone knew, the Argentinian press had announced that the Argentinian Air Force had made the discovery. And what's more, NASA was sending investigators. However, instead of NASA, 2 off-duty U.S. Air Force employees arrived, with instructions to transport the craft to the United States. From here, the trail goes, likely purposely, murky, with several versions of where the UFO and any occupants might be. It would appear, though, that something definitely did crash and that the United States government and/or military had a great interest in it.
The Megas Platanos UFO crash.
An apparent UFO crash occurred in the early hours of September 2, 1990, in the picturesque, sun-blessed setting of Megas Platanos in Greece. It was just after 3 a.m. when 6 bright lights began to approach the village. However, one of the lights was moving much more erratically than the others. As several witnesses watched, all spread out across the area and thus witnessing the events from different vantage points, the unsteady light suddenly came crashing down to the ground below. A shepherd, Trantos Karatronhos, watched the object impact the ground from around 500 meters away. He would recall how there was an immediate burst of flames, which then spread quickly to nearby vegetation. As this was happening, the 5 other craft were hovering overhead, as if watching events unfold. Suddenly, 2 of them came down to the ruined vehicle. The fires were now no longer burning. The glowing craft would continue to descend and ascend once more, seemingly in turns as if there was some kind of repair operation taking place. This operation, whatever it was, would continue until dawn. By the time residents would venture to the crash site with the onset of daylight, they were shocked to find scorch marks but no crippled craft. They did recover some wires and metallic remains, many of which would disappear with the locals as souvenirs. According to later reports made to UFO investigators, there was a distinct Greek military presence in the area in the days that followed. They would even issue an official statement saying that the UFO was actually a Soviet satellite.
Please like and subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates.